Thank you for joining us on Around Town, and we are delighted today to be joined by Pastor James Galliard and Dr. Monique Brown, and we're going to talk about a children's health fair on Saturday, April 2nd from 10 to 2 right here at the Impact Center at Word Tabernacle Church, where the old Home Depot was. If you haven't been here, and you should have come by now, don't you think, if they hadn't come?
Yeah, I think so. There's been a lot of activities, so I think pretty much everybody knows where the Impact Center is these days.
Well, and it's such a happening place. I tell you, any time of day I go by, there are cars in the parking lot. If it's Sunday or some special occasion beyond regular church service, it's every place. The parking lot's filled.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, well, you know, the location is perfect, and we have 1,000 paved parks, and it's right off the highway, and it's very, very neutral to people from all different parts of the communities, Edgecombe County, Nash County. And so we're just excited that it's really become a real gathering place around human development, especially for the people that live in this area.
But I have to say, even with all the amenities in place, if you weren't doing something that people were enjoying and felt like is beneficial, plus availing it to other organizations to use the beautiful spaces here, they wouldn't be coming. So I give y'all the credit. I mean, you've got some wonderful things going on in this Children's Health Fair. Is this the first time you've had this?
It is, Jean, the first time we've done it. This is what we hope will be an annual event. Again, we've not tried it before. We have a number of healthcare professionals within our congregation, and not only healthcare professionals within our congregation, but within the community at large that collaborate and partner with us on things. We have other agencies in the city, in the community, that wanted to do something collaboratively. The issue of health disparities, particularly as it relates to our children, is really significant. And so what we like to try to do, and this is usually our model of how we do things both through the church and through the Impact Center, our model is that we want to first of all create an attraction level event. Something that is really designed around bringing masses of people together around an issue. Then once you get that captive audience, then you can start scaling down into smaller, bite-sized, more specific kind of programming to really address their needs. But a lot of times, and you mentioned at the beginning of the show about the various programs that we offer, they're not accidental. So we do these attraction level events to say, what's really going on in the community? What does the community really respond to? So a great example would be this event is for children that literally are birthed all the way through 18 years of age, right? Now, that's a very broad range. We don't know who we're going to attract. We don't know if we'll attract 1,000 8-year-olds, and so we're going to wait. We're going to offer the opportunity, see who we attract, minister to them very specifically in a specific area. Next week, this April 2nd event is around health, and then say, well, who did we really get? And let's just say the hot subject was around mental health, or the hot subject where we got questions and involvement was around dental or vision, or around lower school or middle school or high school. Then we can start targeting programs very specific around that audience and that age group, because we know they're a ready group. So we're hoping this will be a first of an annual event, but that more than that, it will become a filter so that we know what other kinds of programs to offer.
The needs, and who better to talk about the needs than Dr. Brown, because you work with kids a whole lot, don't you?
Yes, I do. In the community, there's so many young people that don't have services, whether that's mental health or their physical health services. There just is a shortage, and there's so many health issues that are very prevalent in this area, particularly in Edgecombe County. Right now, it has the highest obesity rate in the state for children. And so things like that is what we need to come around and try to get these people to where they need to be, at the level that they need to be.
And it will be very much of a collaborative event. I mean, I was looking over the list, and you've got police coming, and they'll be doing good things, fun things with the kids. Right. Dentists coming, you're going to be involved in vision screenings or various other. But let's kind of go through the list of the various people. And,
sure.
and I have to say, too, so much of what you do here is partnering with the community.
Absolutely. That's really the Impact Center and the churches, particularly the Impact Center, primary responsibility in this. Our primary responsibility is to be that bridge agency that people that are on both sides of the bridge trust, that can come together and to do good work together. So the way this came about was from a member of our church, Dr. Kristy Davis. Dr. Davis is a dentist who has several practices in Wake County, also in Nash County, and then she also is very active in the dental clinics and the dental practices at OIC. She's a native of Rocky Mount, really wanted to do something. She's very active in her sorority, which are the AKAs, and very active in the links. And they were talking about
What are
doing
the
something.
links?
The links is another social group, African American professional women who gather together around the issues of education and around empowerment of people. And they're always looking at good social programming to be able to carry on. And so they came together and said, man, we want to do something. And so then they began looking at what's the right venue. And then lo and behold, the Impact Center was just beginning to open. People kind of started knowing the name. And when we started talking about this last year, we were like, by the time this happens, the Impact Center will probably be ready to go. And so the collaboration came about where the AKAs, the Links, Word Tabernacle Church, the Impact Center kind of formed this collective, this collaborative. And then we started talking to other area physicians, dentists, people in vision, and the fire department, the police department.
Down East Partnership even.
Down East Partnership for Children, absolutely. They're going to be bringing people in to teach children how to prepare healthy snacks, how to prepare healthy meals, and things like this. So
we need Richard Joyner in this too. We need to find a community garden out there and let them pick it and cook it.
You are so right. It's funny you say that because we've actually talked about what he calls these raised beds, where we can kind of grow, even though we have concrete and tar out here, where we can kind of create these raised beds and begin growing things. And so you're absolutely right. That's a really important part of just being able to eat healthy and to, Dr. Brown mentioned the issue of childhood obesity here. A big chunk of that is getting kids moving and getting them eating right. And so we have to be very aggressive about approaching it from that holistic perspective. Because what we've learned, Gene, is that the issues that people have are really holistic in nature. If the issue is childhood obesity, it's for a reason. So let me give you a great example. An example, people say, wow, that's horrible. Edgecombe County has the highest childhood obesity rate. It's not like that in Wake County. But this is what people don't realize. Wake County has 300% more access to health facilities than Edgecombe County.
Wow.
So, and those are just the raw numbers. That's not a number you can make up or anything like that. That is just the reality of the situation. So if children in one part of the state can get to a fitness center or a community center or something like that to begin exercising, working out, things like that, obviously they have a better likelihood of being healthier than children who don't have access to that. So one of the responsibilities we have is around creating program to help deal with what the Kate B. Reynolds Charitable Trust would refer to as health disparities here in the East.
Well, and there's Zumba. Somebody's going to be teaching Zumba that day, working with parents. I know down east I was reading that they're going to, like you said, the Healthy Foods Tasting Station, Triple P Counseling, and Play Bus. And there's play involved in this too. It's free, first off. It's going to be primarily in your parking lot, right?
That's right. That's right.
But it's free to everybody in the community, and we just really want, and the parents don't need to drop them off. I mean, they need to stay with them, right?
And that's exactly why we're offering things for the parents as well, because we want to underscore that this is not a 4-hour babysitting service. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but what we've recognized with children, and I'm sure Dr. Brown can speak to this, is that children don't get in that unhealthy place without help.
Right.
And unfortunately, that help is the parent. When we were all growing up, you played outside. Now you play sitting on the sofa with a remote in your hand or some kind of controller. So now issues of poor health are rising in our community like we've never seen before. So part of this is educating parents. Educating parents, and that's what that Triple P program, and I'll just put a plug in for Down East Partnership for Children. They have a wonderful parenting program that's available to any parent in our community called the Triple P Parenting Program. We actually offer a subset of it here at the Impact Center, but they do it there at Down East Partnership. They do it in other venues, schools, and other places around the community as well. So there's a lot of support that's available for parents. What we want to do is to create a clearinghouse. A clearinghouse where people can say, what opportunities are there for my child and for me as a parent around health, around education, around whatever the case may be, so that my child can be as healthy as possible.
Dr. Brown, what, as we bring in more healthcare professionals, will y'all be actually having areas where you do vision screening and dentists check kids' teeth and that type of thing?
Yes, we will. Everything is really holistic health, and so we're going to do the screenings, but it's more education as well, so that parents and the children understand the better way to eat, what things keep you from having bad vision, what kind of things you're looking for as far as your weight goes, what things are you eating. And so a lot of it's going to encompass education, and I think that it's important to educate the child as well as the adult, because they kind of are the vehicles, and parents are driven by their children as well. So even if it's extracurricular activities like sports and things like that, a lot of kids aren't doing those things anymore. They're sitting in front of the television, like Pastor Galia said.
When we look at this facility too, with potential for playgrounds outside and maybe even a charter school down the road, you've got a gymnasium here. So as you learn things from this particular event, then going forward you might incorporate those in future plans with the church?
There's no question, and there's other plans that we have as well that that as we go into the program I can kind of share as well. But I think we absolutely want to pay attention to what the needs are and then say, how do we very specifically identify? If Downey's Partnership gets a bunch of kids super excited around preparing healthy snacks, and we look up and at that particular station, you've got 60 kids, I can guarantee you that there will be an ongoing opportunity for kids to come to the Impact Center and learn how to prepare healthy snacks. That
sounds wonderful. Well, we're going to take a break, but I want to talk about various things, the police department, the fire department. I mean, it's very kid-oriented, very kid-centered, but play, but also I like that you're involving the parents, because some parents, it's just they just don't know, and to help in a loving, warm, fun arena to help teach them and help we'll all be learning together.
Right.
So we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Richard Koss, Pharmacy Manager at Allman's Drug Store at the Westridge Shopping Center. Here with my wife, daughters, and my business partner Brad Hilton and his wife Katie.
We are delighted to be new business owners living in Rocky Mount and are excited about the new services and products we are adding at Allman's Drug Store's 2 locations. With a full-service pharmacy, a large supply of over-the-counter supplements, and a comprehensive line of diabetic supplies, Allman's has you covered. Our pharmacists also specialize in consultations. We want you to pay the lowest prices and get the best service in town, and our staff works hard to help you save money, but we are also big on friendliness and customer care. We will deliver your prescriptions free, have drive-through windows, and guarantee short wait times. And we come out to greet you personally and see how we can answer all of your questions. Because as local business owners, we care about you.
As a loyal member of your community for over 70 years, you can count on Allman's Drugs to make the health of you and your family our top priority.
Please call Allman's Drugs today.
443-3138.
Thank you for staying with us, and I want to repeat the time and the date. It's Saturday, April 2nd from 10 to 2, a children's health fair. Everything's free. It's fun. It's games. It's bouncy things. It's good food. It's just it's going to be a whole lot of fun. But in looking over the list of people who are coming, the policemen are coming, and they are doing fingerprinting and ID badges. Why is that important?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just important because the issue of security and safety around our children, we just can't say enough about it. And obviously, as parents, we want as much data as possible on our children. It's amazing how many parents have not taken the time to actually go through that process. And
I've still got it. That was one of the first things I did when my kids, kind of got a little time, so it wouldn't totally freak them out.
Right, that's exactly right.
To do it, yeah.
But the issue of security and safety is so important. And the issue of teaching them at an early age, and this is really, not to be preachery, but the issue of training up a child and in the way that they should go and providing them with exposure to certain environments is so key. And so the issue of bringing the police department is not just a matter of exposing them to fingerprinting and IDs. identification, but it's also a matter of giving them a positive first encounter with the police department. You know, and we all know the challenges that go on in our nation around police departments, and we know that in as much as some of it may be warranted, we know some of it is not warranted. And we know one of the ways to combat it is by developing early relationships, giving people the opportunity to develop their own sense of perspective about an institution, about an agency. You don't want a child growing up in a community with a very negative attitude around the police when because that's what they've heard from colleagues, I mean from family,
Or
from people in
media.
the community, or media, right? This way they get a chance to touch the police department, interact with them in a way that is very healthy and very appropriate. So it's beyond fingerprinting an ID. It's also a matter of embracing the community policing initiative of the Rocky Mount Police Department. So that's a big piece of it. In addition to the police department, the fire department will be with us. You know, teaching a child in the event of a fire, how do you escape from the home? What are the things you should do? You know, again, things that we hope we'll never have to encounter, but if we do encounter them, we want our children to be as versed as possible to be able to address them. And then the other real pieces of this are around what Dr. Brown will do in terms of our physicians, our dentists, who will be able to offer various things to the children. For example, you know, temperature and boo-boos. And so Dr. Brown, talk a little bit about kind of those things in terms of the fare, but also just as a physician, if you had to identify the top 2 or 3 things that you really want a child to be able to walk away from your practice or even from this event knowing about, how would you identify those things?
Okay. First, we'll address the bandage and boo-boos. I think a lot of times children don't really understand, if they cut themselves, the importance of how deep it is and what needs to be done if that happens. And even adults don't understand that as a parent. So we're going to show them, you know, the depth of a cut. That's something that you need to go and see a doctor outside of the health fair for, and how to bandage those kind of things. Also, we're going to talk about what I think is very important that we're missing is the importance of taking care of yourself, your body. And so that may be taking care of your weight, making sure you're monitoring your hygiene. And we're also going to talk about self-esteem. And I think self-esteem is a big issue with young children. And with, you know, all the bullying that's going on, a lot of times those kind of things are not addressed at home, and people are being picked on because of those areas. And so we're going to address hygiene and self-esteem issues and healthy weights. And healthy weights, not, you know, looking for a model weight, but more so looking for a healthy weight. And so that may be, you know, you might be a bigger child, however, if you're eating right and you're doing some exercising. And what I often tell children is that if you don't have to go to a gym and you don't have to, you know, have a membership somewhere, you can exercise at your home. And a lot of times, you know, what I'll explain to them is even in the longest room in your house, measure that out. And then it helps them with math too, because you figure out how long that room is and then how many miles that is if you walk it, you know, a certain number of times. And so we'll be doing a lot of education.
Run back and forth.
We'll be doing
That's
a lot
what
of
my
education on
grandchild
that.
does. I mean, we'll go to the park for hours and hours and come back to the house. He'll just run back and forth, and he'll ask me to do it with him. Well, no. But yeah, kids have got a lot of energy. We just have got to create options like you're saying. Point out to them, hey, let's do this, and maybe run with them a few laps or make it fun. Don't just hand them a tablet or turn on the TV and just plop them down there.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad, Dr. Brown, you mentioned bullying, because I think that's something that down the road the church could really make a dent in helping negate that and giving people tools and telling them who to talk to, because that from what I've heard, has become a real problem.
It really is, and this is an example, it's a great example of what we mean by identifying what the real issues are and then developing programs around it. And so we've had some recent deaths in our community because of bullying, and so because of that, with this healthcare on top of us, you know, we're going to try to take advantage of that captive audience to be able to address the issue. And so I think you're exactly right, and Dr. Brown, you know, hits it spot on, really teaching children around the issue of proper self-esteem. Because when you have a proper self-esteem, and when you have a proper identity context, the issue of bullying really becomes much more bearable. But many children don't have good self-identity, self-discipline, and good context in terms of who they really are, so that acceptance externally becomes so important to them. And so we have to really work through to help them really gravitate, help them really address that. And a big chunk of this is around health issues. You know, if a child is unhealthy, if they don't think they are attractive, if their teeth aren't straight, if their glasses are too thick. Exactly. Those issues affect their self-esteem. And I think oftentimes parents don't recognize the significance of those issues. And so we want to make sure that we're coming alongside of children and parents to give them the support systems they need to be able to help. And so, you know, we have the Colgate Dental van here. And so we'll be doing dental screenings. And this is important. Let me just say this, because this speaks to the captive audience, or the audience that might be very interested. There's an element of dental and medical screening that has to happen before your child can enter into school. Not everyone has equal access and can afford to get those screenings done. And so for those parents that may feel as if, man, I don't even know who my dentist should be for my child. And it's amazing how many children begin entering into school, you know, pre-K, and never have had a dental checkup. Those parents can come to this health fair. Now, obviously, we won't be able to see everyone because the schedule is going to fill, but those parents will be able to come and bring their child and literally be able to get their dental screening done in order for that child to be able to go to school.
They'll be given us some type of certificate to show they've had it done.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's wonderful.
You know, so the opportunities are huge, and I would I'm hoping that thousands of kids will show up and thousands of parents will show up with them to be able to take advantage. And so if you are a parent of a birth through 18-year-old that is still, you know, not out of school yet, I just encourage you to show up on Saturday, April 2nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and just witness all of the activity. You know, the police department, the fire department, Dr. Brown, Rocky Mount Family Medicine is participating. Let's Move, which is an initiative by Michelle Obama in the White House around getting kids moving. That's really the whole initiative, is around getting kids moving. That's the reason why we have all the space that we have here. There'll be a stage. We built a huge stage just for this event. There'll be people on the stage doing Zumba classes along the lines of the White House initiative on moving, to teach parents how to move, to teach the young people how to move, again, to get them into a healthier lifestyle. The objective here is to create a lifestyle change. It is not to expose them simply to a few hours of dental screening or vision screening or medical doctors, but also to create an initiative within their life to say, wow, my health matters. And I have to begin now at an early age, eating right, preparing foods right, taking care of my teeth, making sure I can see properly, all of those things that really matter. And so I think the opportunities are going to be endless for parents. Plus, it creates a collaboration. So now you're going to have, you know, one parent dropping off a third grader, another parent dropping off a third grader from two totally different elementary schools. They would have never known each other.
But they're not dropping them off, they're staying with them
Correct.
there too, right?
Correct, right. Not dropping them off from the sense of babysitting, but dropping them off from the perspective of participating in something. Then they start talking to another parent of a third grader, and they start comparing notes, and before you know it, they can support each other, partner with each other. Parenting is a team sport.
Yeah.
You know, and we need each other's support and help to be able to accomplish this successfully.
And nobody does it better than Word Tabernacle, because with Kyle here and the various programs he has for middle school and high school kids, and I mean, you make it fun. The kids, you've got what, 1,100 kids,
12 kids
who go here. Before we end, Dr. Brown, address if a child is having vision problems, or I guess mainly vision problems, that can severely impact the ability to be successful, can't it?
It would, because they can't be successful in school. Because if they can't see, and a lot of times what they do is they try to compensate. So even though they can't see, they say they can, and so then they get answers wrong, and they aren't doing well academically, but it's not because of their academics, it's more so because of their physical ailment. So it's very important. And we're also going to do hearing screenings as well, and for the same reason, because a lot of times they don't get their hearing checked at all and then I get kids in 6th grade who can't hear, and they've had that issue for several years.
And they're not up to grade level and can't
Right.
be because but often it's gone undetected.
Exactly.
You've got young kids and you've got a little bit older kids, but your kids have a great time coming here, don't they?
Oh yeah, they love it. I was just teasing a group of people the other night saying, man, we just have to have the coolest church around because our kids just want to hang out. You know, and that's great. That's exactly what you want. And not just for the spiritual perspective, but just because A, there are other kids around. Kids love being around other kids. And B, because we really try to address things that are relevant and pertinent for them as young people.
And even younger ones. I mean, it's fun to be here.
They love it. My children love it here.
And y'all
There's always something to do.
tell us again what to bring, who to come.
Saturday,
whatever.
April 2nd,
Uh-huh.
2016, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Impact Center, the old Home Depot, 821 Word Plaza. It's a joint effort collaboratively between Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, Links, Word Tabernacle Church, the Impact Center, Rocky Mount Police Department, Fire Department,
Colgate
Dr. Monique
Band.
Brown, Dr. Kristy Davis, Colgate, Downey's Partnership for Children. And
Dr.
literally,
Robert Bala,
Dr.
who's
Robert
with
Bala, Rocky Mount Family Medicine. This is a joint effort coming together to say our kids really matter. And so, if you are convinced or need to be convinced that the health of your child really matters, then we just encourage you to show up, birth through 18 years old, Saturday, April 2nd at 10 o'clock.
And everything's free.
And everything is free.
All about the kids.
Yep.
Thank you so much, and thank you for what you're doing for our community. We really, really, it's being noticed greatly, and it's so much appreciated.
Well, I
So
appreciate
thank
you
you.
spotlighting it. Thank you.
Thank you. See you next week.